What is the Volunteer Match Network? Imagine a world of volunteers looking for their perfect match.
When a nonprofit posts a volunteer opportunity on Volunteer Match, that opportunity has the potential to reach millions of interested volunteers. To illustrate the reach of our network, let's imagine that this piece of candy represents 10,000 people.
An average of 15 million people visit volunteermatch.org each year. In addition, each volunteer opportunity has the potential to reach 10 million pro bono and skilled volunteers through LinkedIn's Volunteer Marketplace. 2.6 million employee volunteers search for our opportunities from companies like Starbucks, Groupon, and JetBlue. And more than 500,000 employee volunteers from multiple corporate giving platforms have access to volunteer opportunities from our network. Since 1998, Volunteer Match has facilitated over 12 million nonprofit volunteer connections. Now that you know more about the reach of our network, get started by going to volunteermatch.org and posting your volunteer opportunity today.
Hi, welcome at my presentation. I'm so happy to talk to you today. And thank you, Social Work Helper, and especially Diona, for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to share my story with you. My name is Anneke, and I am a social worker from the Netherlands. And my story is about my own transformation, how I became a social worker entrepreneur, and how I started my entrepreneurial journey. It was not easy, but I did it. And if you are a social worker too, and if you are looking for new career opportunities, my story definitely will inspire you to fall back in love with your job as a social worker. So let's get started, and I will get my slides for you. So here we are. Let's see. Yes. And now we are ready to go. And here you see me. And this is me wearing my social worker hat. And this is the hat I have been wearing all my life. And this hat is perfect for me. And I really love it. And I hope you love it too. And do you have a social worker hat too? I guess you do. Well, and this is me wearing my other hat. This is my entrepreneur's hat. And this hat is a new hat. And certainly in the beginning, it felt very uncomfortable. And it felt like this hat was not mine. Well, do you have an entrepreneurial hat too? Well, I will share a little bit more about me playing with my hats. But what it comes down to is this dilemma. And this is a kind of dilemma we social workers face for years now. And it is dilemma between people or money. Do you choose for people or do you choose for money? What is more important for you? And of course, as a social worker, we have always made the choice to go for people, to work for people in need. And for years in my life, in my social worker life, money was not important. I hated money. Who needs money? The only thing I want to do is help people in need. But as you may have noticed, the last couple of years, also in our field of social work, money has become more and more and more important. In my country, the Netherlands, the government is cutting down the budgets on social work. So social workers lose their jobs, or we don't have the money to take care of the people in the way that we wanted. So we started looking for new opportunities, and we started to think about, well, why do we need money, or what can we do with money? And perhaps it's time to overcome our fear for money and also become a part of the new economy. Well, by sharing my story with you, I would love to help you with your own money fears and your own struggle and create new career opportunities that are also open to you. So, as I told you, my name is Anneke and I am a social worker from the Netherlands. And after I started my own business 11 years ago, I am now helping social workers to transform into social entrepreneurs. Because that's what I've done myself too. And I know exactly when you start your journey what will be your pitfalls, but also what your successes will be and how you can enjoy your journey the most. I have a mission because I believe that we can be true leaders of change. Often we call ourselves leaders of change, but how does it come that we don't feel leaders of change? Because the stories I hear from social workers are mostly stories about exhaustion, low salaries, about loss of passion for the job. But my story is a positive one because I truly believe that we can be these leaders of change. I am a social worker since 1987 and I am an entrepreneur since 2006. And in that year, 2006, when I started my playing with my head started. And I will share 3 short stories of defining moments on my journey. I will share my struggle, I will share the insight, and I will share the solution. And all this in the hope to inspire you. The first story. This story is called Feeling Stupid. Because at the start in 2006 of my business, I really had no clients and no money coming in. And as you know, when you become self-employed and when you have your own business, you have to have revenue coming in to make a living out of your business. But I had no clients and no money coming into my business. And I worked really hard and I was really enthusiastic and I had this huge mission. So that was all in place. But I had no clue how to get clients and where to focus on in my business. And then a friend came by. After 3 years, I struggled for really three years. And then a friend came by. And this friend gave me an advice. And she said to me, Anneke, you have to do more about your marketing. What? Marketing? We don't do that. I am a social worker and we don't do that. And I guess you feel the same when we talk about marketing, when we talk about becoming commercial, economical, when we become about sending invoices to people. We don't do that. So for me, this was really a huge, huge struggle. Until I came on a crossroad and I had this feeling. Well, I can continue my struggle and I can continue having a business and feeling very stupid because having a business without clients and without money, well, that's stupid. Or I could follow the advice and see what would come my way. And that's what I did. I went to a marketing class and I learned all about marketing. And now I say, this was my rescue because I gained a huge insight. And that was this insight. All my ideas and all my thoughts I had about marketing, they were wrong because they were all about old-fashioned, outdated marketing. And we call that push marketing. It's about manipulating, it's about selling your soul, it's about talking people into a deal. And that's not what I want. And that's also not what you want. But that's called push marketing. And push marketing is outdated. But you can also do marketing in another way. And this way is called pull marketing. And pull marketing is all about building warm relationships with your clients. Well, and I can do that, And you can do that too, probably, because we are social workers and we are experts in building warm relationships with people. And pull marketing is all about these relationships. Pull marketing is all about starting loving your clients and getting in contact with them and make them feel that they like you. And of course, you like them. And finally get their trust. And when they trust you, well, trust me, you will get the deal. So this is really the solution, because after this insight, I started doing my marketing and I really became a magnet and I attracted clients. And now, several years later, I have a business and I am having a community of thousands of social workers all over the world. And I'm connected with them and I'm having warm relationships with them. And some of them, then they become my client. And I help them to make this transformation too, to transform from social worker into a social worker entrepreneur. Well, I hope you love this story. And let's continue with the second story. Story 2. And this story is called Who Needs Money? Well, I remember sending my first invoice. Well, actually, I did not send it. I delivered a package to a client and we agreed on the price. And after I delivered the package, it was time for me to send my invoice. But I had so much fear to send this invoice. I felt so much shame and I felt guilty about sending them an invoice. And really, I did not send it for a day, for 2 days, for a whole week. And I remember after a couple of weeks, I really needed the money. I sent this invoice. And guess what? The next week, the amount of money was on my bank account. And they paid it. They really paid my invoice. And I felt it was a kind of a miracle. But now I know, when you deliver value, people will exchange this for their money because they get the value and you get the money. And then I remember a few years later when I had a lot of clients and when I made a proposal, including a price tag for a client, they always said yes. So I went to my mentor and I said, I'm very successful because every proposal is getting a yes. And then my mentor said, Anneke, in that case, you are doing something wrong. I said, huh? Am I doing something wrong? And she said, yes, you are too cheap. You should raise your prices. Whoa. And I did. I raised my prices. And to be honest, I doubled them. And the first time that I did a workshop for a client who paid this huge price, after the workshop, the CEO of this company said to me, well, Anneke, thank you so much for this wonderful workshop. It was really worth it. Oh, that was a relief. Because in fact, the CEO told me that it was really worth the price. And I sent my invoice, and again, after a couple of days, I had this amount of money on my bank account. And they were happy, and I was happy. But dealing with my prices, dealing with money is so scary because there is still this struggle and this old feeling that I always felt as a social worker. Who needs money? Money is destroying our world. Money is causing war. Money is making people unhappy. Well, all these thoughts about money. And now I call them my non-profit hormone. Non-profit hormones. And guess me, they are all over the place. And they are little monsters that make me feel scared still today. When I raise my prices, when I am in a negotiation with a client about my price, I still can feel my non-profit hormones playing a party. Well, but this is my insight. As I told you, when the CEO said this little sentence, well, that was completely worth it. I realized that money equals value. So money has always to do with value. You can't look at money as only money, but always related to the value you deliver or the value your client will receive. And when my clients are very happy with the value I deliver, and believe me, it is one of my great, how do you say it? Well, I always focus on delivering high value for my clients. And it means that I can ask good prices. So money equals value. And this is a very, very important insight. The solution, I created a revenue model. And this model consists of delivering great value and asking good prices. And I also solve my money issues. Well, I still feel a little bit scared now and then when it comes down to money and my prices. But I became friends with my non-profit hormones, these little monsters. And I do not let them drive my car. I know they are here, but please sit on the back seat and do not drive my car, because I drive my car. And when they are on the back seat, it's okay. I can handle them. So this might be your solution to create a revenue model and solve your money issues. And if I can do it, I did it, you can do it too. I am sure. Well, let's go on to the third and last story. And this is the story about becoming a leader. Well, let me share a memory with you, because I once organized a meeting, and I guess it was about 4 or 5 years after I started my business, and my community was growing and my circle of clients was growing, and I decided that I wanted to meet them and have a drink with them. And people showed up, and we drank a little wine and beer, and there were some really nice bites with it, some snacks I served to them. And then one lady started a speech, and she speeched to me. And she said something like, "Well, Anneke, thank you so much. We are so grateful that you started this movement and that you are bringing this entrepreneurial spirit into the field of social work, because this is what we need. In a field that is full of stories of exhaustion and people losing their passion for the job, we need you to bring your story to us. Anneke," this is what she said, "Anneke, you are our guru." And at that point, when she said, "Anneke, you are our guru," my struggle began. Because who am I to be your guru? I do not want to be your guru. I am not a person like Nelson Mandela or Mahatma Gandhi or President Obama or Mother Teresa. They are gurus. They are leaders. They are heroes. And I was always used to do my work in the shadow. And probably just like you are used to do. We social workers, we often work in the shadow. And then years later, I got on a phone call. And this was a phone call with some of my mentors. And he asked me, "Anneke, what are you doing? Anneke, what is the why of your business?" And I talked about my mission. And I talked about my belief that we can be true leaders of change. And I talked about how I want to contribute and how I want to increase my impact and on how I wanted to build a community of like-minded social workers. And he listened to my story and my mission. And then this guy said to me, "Anneke, I love your story. You are a true servant leader." And then my heart jumped. And as for years before, they called me a guru, my heart went down. But when this guy called me a servant leader, my heart really made a happy dance. And I felt, yes, this is what I want to be. I want to be a servant leader. And from that moment on, I embraced my leadership I really embraced my leadership, and I really started increasing even more my impact, and my community started to grow. And I opened up a hangout on Facebook, a closed hangout for social workers with an entrepreneurial mindset. And this hangout became in no time a hangout of more than 1,000 members. And yes, this is how I feel. This is my insight. Well, if I want to be a leader of change, if you want to be a leader of change, you really have to show up as the leader you want to be. And don't think of who am I to be a leader? Who am I to be your servant leader? No, you are. And it's time that you start to show up as the leader you want to be. And this is what I did. I created and I wrote it down, my own leadership statement. And writing it down was really something that helped me to become even more a leader and embrace this feeling of wanting to serve people like you. And Martin Luther King says this in a great way, a great leader. He says, great leaders develop caring connections. And that's exactly what I want to do. Because darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. And only love can do that. So that's really what I want to do. I want to spread the light and I want to spread the love to you. And here it is. Here it is, my leadership statement. And it's still scary to share it with social workers, to share it with you. But I know that I have to do this. And here it is. I am the servant leader of a community of social workers who truly want to change this world. I encourage them to break free from restrictive systems and beliefs. And I teach them how to become more entrepreneurial, to increase their impact. And I coach them in building new, profitable, and sustainable social businesses. Whoa, how about that? I really hope that you like my leadership statement and that this will resonate with you. Well, these were my 3 stories for you. And this is a little wrap up. It's about becoming a magnet and doing your marketing. It's about solving your money issues. And it's about show up as the leader you want to be. And look at this. Now I am having 2 hats and I am wearing them both and I really love them both. And I exactly know now when I have to wear my social worker hat and when I have to work my entrepreneurial hat. And to make this a little bit more clear to you, when I am working with my clients, when I am working with you, I'm full of compassion and I'm full of delivering high service and value. And I'm really wearing my social worker hat. You can rely on me. When you need me, I am here for you. And this is how I show up as a mentor and as a trainer. But when I'm working on my business, when I am making my goals for the next year, when I'm planning my revenue, when I'm in price negotiations, when I am working on my website and on my sales copy, that's when I'm wearing my entrepreneurial hat. And how it feels comfortable. And I can laugh about it when I start struggling again, because I know I will always find a solution. And when I cannot find a solution myself, I hop onto my communities of like-minded social workers and also like-minded entrepreneurs, and people will help me. So that's the way that I do it. Well, at the end of this presentation, I really would love you to share your aha with me. Well, perhaps there will be a place where you can put your comment under this presentation, or otherwise go to my website, send me an email, go to my Facebook, my LinkedIn, my Twitter. You can find me all over the place. But if you want to share your aha, your insight based on my story, I would love to read it and I would love to get in touch with you. So, and here you can find me to keep in touch. You can go to my place on the World Wide Web. It's www.annekekrakers.com. or send me an email a.krakers@welzijnnederland.nl. That's Dutch because I'm having a Dutch company, but you can also find me when you Google my name on Facebook or LinkedIn. And really, I would love to connect with you. So I hope my story inspired you, and I really hope to speak to you soon. Okay, bye-bye.